morning. It was a beautiful day. I found it so much easier for me to collect my thoughts and speak freely whenever I'm in nature, whenever I'm outside. It's much more challenging in the car or in the house. I think I feel more stimulated outside. And it's just a really pretty morning. Kind of have a lot on my mind right now. Been going through some pretty major shifts in my consciousness, my life beliefs, how and who I think of myself as, and the people around me. And I think what I want to talk about today is why are we so resistant to new information? Why is it that whenever we're presented with information that really is just an opinion when it comes down to it, there is no absolute truth here. This is just us going through this thing called life and experiencing experiences. But as a species, it seems like humanity is so resistant to any kind of new information that could possibly shake the boat or rock things. And if it makes you have to take a step back and question what you've been taught as truth your whole life, then a lot of people don't even want to have that conversation, which is really disappointing. I'm not gonna lie. I have successfully upset a couple people in my life that are both really important, but they don't have open minds. They're not interested in having conversations about things that they don't agree with. And I just find that so detrimental. You don't have to agree with me. I'm not saying you have to change the way you live your life or why you believe what you believe, but for people to not even be interested in having a conversation, listening to a viewpoint just for the sake of listening and understanding it, even if they don't agree with it, just to listen and understand it. And most people don't want to do it. They just don't. They cling to this idea that they know something, I guess, or their way is best, or this is how it's always been done, so this must be the right way to do it. There's two major ideas or topics that I've been spending a lot of time on lately and have been making more visible, more information visible on my social media. One of them is around open relationships and polyamory, and the other one is around God realization, or the idea that everything is one. We all came from the same entity or being, therefore we are all the same. And these are two very radical ideas. I definitely understand that. But the response has just been, I don't know if I can say surprising, because I was pretty confident I was going to get this type of response, specifically from these two people, but it's still disappointing. It still hurts, Really thought that they would have at least a conversation with me about these things, but they don't even want to do that. I've always been the black sheep. I've always been the one that breaks the status quo my entire life, within my family specifically. I come from a pretty conservative background, and I have a very open mind, and that is a death wish within conservatism, is to have an open mind. But what I'm noticing within myself as I'm taking this new information in and being open to these ideas is a radical change happening. A radical change happening within myself and outside of myself. I'm seeing it internally and in my life around me. And the changes aren't bad, they're overwhelmingly positive. And so it's just disheartening, I guess, to feel like this is making a difference in my life, this way of thinking and living and processing the information, seeing how much it's changed me, and then seeing other people being resistant to even having a conversation. I'm not saying you have to change too, but you want to talk about it? I don't know, man. I just can't ascribe to that type of thinking or living anymore. Life's too short and there's too much to experience. How can we silo ourselves like that? How can we put ourselves in this tiny little box and be like, oh, well, this is where we're supposed to be. This is how we're supposed to exist. Don't ask questions. I can't do it. I have to ask questions. I'm a projector. You can tell me all day long, but until I go experience it for myself, I'm not going to believe it. Even then, sometimes I don't believe it. I'll experience it, and I'll still doubt it, and I'll still deconstruct it, and I'll still pick it apart and try to figure out why. And I really think that's why we're supposed to be here. Looks like we got some yard work. It is early on a Saturday morning, so I'm going to cut this one short, and we'll talk again soon. So have a great weekend.